So let's get started. As you know, normally we do the coin toss, but we're kind of doing a little something new this week. This is our playoff show. So we're going to talk all about playoffs. We had a definitely wild card weekend was very wild. For those of you, we had 6 games this past weekend, and we are going to talk about all of them. Because, man, did we see some stuff this weekend or what? And to start off, we're going to go right to the most wild thing ever. We're going to go to Jaguars and Chargers. Because I'm telling you, folks, when I turned this game on in the beginning, I'm going, oh my goodness. Jacksonville decided not to show up today. For those of you who know what happened. You see the final there. It was 27-0 at one point, my friends. And you see the score there. 31-30 Jaguars. So, Delilah, I'm going to come to you first. What in the world happened in this game? Talk to me. What was going on there?
It was so much fun because I was actually out at a bar for once watching football.
There you go.
Home. But I was
like it.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't, man. I was like, all right, Herbert finally, he's going to get his playoff win. He's going to move on, because I know that's your guy too, But like, all right.
I do love Justin Herbert. Yes, I do.
I was like, he's going to make it happen. I said, here's these both blonde, long-haired dudes facing each other.
Yeah. It was the battle of the hair. It looked like an 80s football game with the hair.
It was crazy. So that part was kind of fun too. I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, oh, they're going to get it. Herbert finally getting his due. Eckler, all those guys, right? Because they've been, really wanting to get there. They always just kind of missed it. And then they also forced 5 turnovers. I mean, they picked off Trevor Lawrence 4 times.
I know.
Yeah. It's it was wild. But they had 5, forced turnovers all together on the Chargers. So people are like, all right, that's it, And then all of a sudden the second half, just teams shifted in the other direction. And all of a sudden, Jacksonville was getting touchdowns. So Trevor Lawrence had the same amount of touchdowns that he did interceptions, which is crazy to me, right? He had 4 interceptions, but he also had 4 touchdowns. So 4 different guys. 4 different guys got a touchdown, which was crazy to me. And so I don't know what happened in the locker room. Peyton Manning insists that nothing goes down in the halftime, that they just go use the bathroom, eat some oranges and stuff. But I don't know if that's exactly true in this circumstance. Because the team that went in was very dejected with all reason because they're like, oh, we're done, right? And all of a sudden, it's just the momentum shifted. It's just everything kind of went Jacksonville's way in that second half. And the Chargers kind of shut down. I don't know if I don't know if they really got on their laurels, and they're like, hey, boom, it's 27-0. And it's yeah, but it's still an NFL team you're playing. It's playoffs. You know what I mean? So I feel like they took their foot off the pedal a little bit in that second half. And they didn't go as hard and really try to get those additional points to make sure that they could shut down Jacksonville. And someone told me, because I don't follow college like you and Sean and everybody does, that Trevor Lawrence has not lost a Saturday night game since high school. Since high school, he's never lost a Saturday night game, and it looked like, oh, here's his first loss, But no, the kid won, and then he went to Waffle House, which I love. Which makes me like him even more.
He did go to the Waffle House. They took pictures and everything. It was great.
Yeah, so it was honestly, I feel bad for the Chargers and the Herbert, to be honest, because I really do they really do have a good team, and they just can't break this curse, man. But I'm also really proud of Jacksonville after what they've been through the last few seasons, always coming in last, right? We know this. They were always the joke. And what they dealt with last year with a really bad and toxic environment with coaching and stuff, and to turn around like this and not just get into a playoff, but come out with a win like that in a wild card game. Honestly, I'm not hating it all. Kudos Jacksonville. That was fun. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tina, as we all know, again, you're up 27-0, and your team loses. At the end of the game, you're sitting there going, what in the hell happened? But I want to ask you this, because I think this is an important question. Do you blame the coach more or the team more for that second half collapse? What do you think?
I think it's a coach thing. I do kind of agree with them letting go of the offensive coordinator and the QB coach, because for some reason he may not be working whatever with Herbert or gelling. But I think the bigger issue is, and then this is something that I kind of was joking around on the thread earlier, or right after this game was over, where I said Chargers being Chargers, where
Right. Yeah.
the defense of the Chargers is not as good as people think they are. Like, we almost beat them, and they have their starters in the game the week before. And I'm going to lean into Sean's comment that he has. And the Chargers lost Mike Williams because they played him in that game. If Mike Williams had been in that game, he would have caught that last pass that they were making, that they probably would have won the game for them. So, I mean, it's got to be coaching, or the guys just literally coasted back and was like, it reminded me of the Super Bowl with the Patriots and Atlanta, where it's just like Atlanta just went like, we just got to coast and we'll win. And
that, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
and see that. No, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I got some perverse pleasure out of the Chargers getting kicked out in the first playoff game. Because, I am a Denver fan. I don't like seeing the other teams in the West win. But Herbert had that game in the bag. Who knows what happened? But the fact that Staley also didn't get fired says to me that there was some kind of thought, maybe by the players or by the owners or the GM, that it's not all him. There's something else going on there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, see,
and I agree. The head coach is the defensive guy, but
yeah. I just, because again, you look at the season though that the Chargers had. They didn't start out great, but they caught back up. They got into the playoffs. You thought, okay, you turned it around. This is gonna. Sean says the one interception that the Chargers dropped cost them the game at the end. But honestly, Sean, they should have never been in that position. You were up 27-0, and this is what I wanted to get to, because this is not the first time we've seen games like this. Like you said, that Super Bowl where you're up 25 points, you let your foot off the gas. In that second half, what did the Falcons do? Conservative offense, didn't take any chances, tried to run some clock, tried to do this and that, tried to be too cute about it, and look what happened. You got caught. And I think that's partly what happened to the Chargers too. And again, that does stand to coaching, because you got to get in your guys' butts and be like, hey, this game is not over. Get your head out of your rear and let's play. Like, let's not pretend like this game is in the bag. Because like I said, first half, Trevor Lawrence looked like, any other lousy, Rick Meyer or something in the field, 4 for 14 with whatever. And all of a sudden, he's Joe Montana in the second half, throwing 4 touchdown passes. It's like, come on, man. Like, what is going on? So to me, part of it is coaching. You can't let the coach off the hook with that. And again, firing the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach, obviously they knew something that we don't. And obviously there might have been something there, like you said, the whole time.
There might be more firings coming. We don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, like you said, when you have a team like the Chargers, who, like I said, are vastly improved, you have your quarterback. This is his third year now, and he's been playing much better. And again, you have your opportunity to win a playoff game where you're up 27 points and you lose. And you know what? Kudos to Doug Peterson, because I'm going to be honest with you. When they scored that last touchdown and decided to go for 2 when it was 30 to 26.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing? Why don't you just kick? You'll be 3 down if you kick this extra point. But he makes the damn 2-point play, and now a field goal wins it for you because you're only. And I said that to my cousin. We were out somewhere, and I'm like, dude, it's 30-28. Watch Jacksonville win this on a last-second field goal. And sure enough, what happened? I'm like, oh my. He told me, he's like, they won, right? I'm like, no, they didn't. He's like, yes, Jacksonville won. I'm like, oh, I told you. When they went for 2 and got 28, I'm like, watch, this is going to come down to that last-second field goal. And sure enough, Jacksonville hit it. So, as we all know, Jacksonville is moving on, of course, but we will get into that later. Let us move on to our next game, which was the Saturday night or the Saturday afternoon. The first game was San Francisco and Seattle. Now, this game to me was really, I don't want to say surprising, because, again, if you watch this game, you saw a very spirited Seattle team in that first half.
Yeah.
I mean, they came back and tied that game, and I'm telling you, I was excited. I was like, and again, I love the 49ers, but I'm like, I like to see the underdog really play well, and you like to see that fight. You like to see that determination. Tina, we'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts about what happened there Saturday with San Francisco and Seattle?
I mean, honestly, I kind of thought Seattle snuck in anyways. And I really do think that Detroit probably should have gotten that pick instead of them. But I found it a little amusing for me. Yes, Geno Smith was who we thought he was. I agree with that. I had two heads on that game, and this is kind of emotional because it goes back to my team. I didn't want Seattle to do well because I'm tired of the Seattle fans making fun of us for taking Russell Wilson. But if they won, we got a better draft pick out of San Francisco in the first round. So I was literally like, yay, no. But yeah, Seattle showed who they are. I mean, they got a decent team there. Decent as I'm meaning like, okay, they snuck their way into the playoffs. I'm not saying they're great or anything. They had a decent team to get them into the playoffs, but they don't have enough of a team together to be able to win it. And that's where I think San Francisco was just in the second half. I'll call him Shanny because that's Mike Shanahan's son and we call him Shanny. Shanny just kept the gas going. I think that's an example of what you do when you are winning a game in the second half. You don't take your foot off the gas. You keep it going because they're going to start to make more mistakes and you're going to be able to take advantage of that. The defense for Seattle, just McCaffrey was like running all over them and everybody else. And there's just too much talent, I think, on San Francisco for them. They were the ones I thought were going to win. I just wanted a better pick.
No, I totally get that. Is Brock Purdy legit? Will the crazy run last?
I think we need another year on that one.
Okay. No, yeah, that's fair. He's what, 6-0 though as a starter, Mr. Purdy. So a lot of people are going to jump on that and be like, "Hey, yeah." Oh no, and that's the thing.
Debo and McCaffrey and those guys.
Well, I mean, and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and Elijah Mitchell was back and blah 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 blah. It's like the riches just keep going for San Francisco. It doesn't stop. And then the defense is the number one in the league. So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, Delilah, though, Seattle, and I know you and I over this past year have, we've all had discussions on the show about Geno Smith and what he's meant to Seattle and what he's done there. First half, he looked great. What happened in the second half, Delilah? What did talk to me?
I feel like the 49ers defense stepped up because I know like he had 253 yards. I think people forget this, right? I get it. Yeah. That man had 253 yards that game. I know he had one pick, but he did have a touchdown, like I said. And so that loss to me had to do more with like the fact that it's just 49ers just had a better defense. I just think overall, both sides, like we talk about this all the time. And honestly, the way to win is you have to have your defense and your offense has to be stellar, right? Because it's an we're like, oh, it's an offensive league now, but you need a great defense, which you always go back to that, Nick. Like defenses still win Super Bowls, and and so with the defense the 49ers had, they just were able to just stop everything that the Seattle had coming in the second half. And like I said, like same thing, like they, unlike the Chargers, Shanahan was like, no, we're not, and and they made sure that they did not become complacent because, at the end they did, they did get 23 points on them. You know what I mean? And so like, if the 49ers would have like took their foot off the pedal, in my opinion, like I feel like Seattle definitely could have caught up, but they didn't do that, right? They said, nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going to let anybody get anything. We're going to keep pressuring everyone, and so it is just, to me, the 49ers they're just a better team. And, I honestly was like, oh, I don't know how far they can go. We keep talking about, oh, well, he's a rookie quarterback, but they're winning games. At the end of the day, they are winning games. He did come in. We talk about that all the time. We talk about how the quarterback's always going to get credit for the loss and the wins, right? He gets credit
absolutely.
for the wins.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he balls out every game so far. I'm just saying, every game so far, he's thrown like 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, and different guys too. Not even the same guys. The team looks re-energized, in my opinion, way more
Oh
than
yeah.
did in the beginning, when they weren't sure who's gonna be their quarterback. Trey Lance went down, then it's like, and so this kid came in and just injected that energy, and I feel like they've rallied behind him a lot. Like you could tell that the offense really rallied around him, and that Shanahan's being really smart in how he utilizes him too, because I think
Yeah.
coaching right here shows you high level, high caliber coaching, right? He knows exactly
Yeah.
what he needs to do to get out of his offense. The defensive coordinator is doing a great job making sure he gets stops, he gets picked. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's just,
Yeah. Absolutely.
they're a dangerous team. I was, they really are a dangerous team to face, and like they're not messing around. Like they're not
Nope.
imposters.
Absolutely not. Nope. And that's the thing. Like I think with coaching, like you said, you don't take your foot off the gas. Good teams don't do that. Like you don't coast, you don't red. You're like, we got to win this game. Like I'm not taking any chance. And again, like you said, the
Mm-hmm.
system that they have there. I mean, it's very hard for this kid to fail. Let's be honest. And I'm not saying Brock Purdy's not playing well because he is.
No, but yeah,
But
for
when you
sure.
have weapons like that and you can manage a
Mm-hmm.
game, you don't turn the ball over. That's what's going to happen because you've got playmakers all over your offense. And again, your defense, like I said, is number one in the league. So as long as you can put some points on the board, you're gonna win. And again, they won their last 10 games of the regular season. So now
Mm-hmm.
that, and that was pretty much after the McCaffrey trade, that all of a
Right.
sudden they went on this huge winning streak. And now so now you're on 11 in a row, counting that first playoff win. So I mean, yeah, I mean, you have to like San Francisco going forward. But again, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So let us move on. So we'll go to the first game on Sunday, if I remember correctly, because I woke up a little late and I missed a few things. Is the Giants and Vikings. Well, that was actually a 3 o'clock game, but it's okay. We'll go to Giants Vikings next. No problem. No, no, then Sean switches it on me. Thanks, brother. Now I look goofy. All right, so yes, the 12 o'clock game for us Chicagoans was Buffalo Miami. Thank you, Sean. I love you to death. But now this game to me was the one where I'm sitting here and I swear I almost spit up my leftover pizza watching this one because I'm thinking, how in the world is Miami managing to stay toe to toe with Buffalo with Skylar Thompson at
Mm-hmm.
quarterback? Well, Tina, I'm going to go to you first on this one. What were your impressions of this game, and because this was a wild one as well. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about this.
My initial reaction watching most of the game was, what the hell is going on here? But I'm going
Right.
to go back with a discussion I think some of us had had before, which is Miami actually was a very good team up until a couple of weeks ago, or 8 weeks ago, or however long their slide was. So they came prepared. They were ready to go. And maybe Skylar's as good as he's playing. We don't know any of that. The Bills have had their off periods too. So they've lost games they shouldn't have lost. They've been close in other games. And I just think Miami, like Nicole just said, I think Miami put up a good fight in a playoff game and fought as hard as they could fight. And the Bills were just able to overcome them and ultimately have the win. So that was a bruising game, not going to lie. Nick, you're unmute.
My apologies. Oh, man, my goodness. We're having just so much fun here. I got talking too much. I muted myself. Look at that. That's crazy. But, well, Delilah, that's the whole thing. Like, watching this game, I thought to myself, is Miami actually going to pull this off? Like, given all the emotion Buffalo's obviously had in the last few weeks, you started to
Mm-hmm.
think maybe they're a little too emotional. Maybe they're too, high strung and too wired up and all that stuff. And, you're not doing everything you need to be doing against a Miami team with a third string quarterback. Oh, here we go. Skylar Thompson played himself a game. The 5 turnovers
Yeah.
by Job. Well, yes. And I
Yeah.
wanted to get to that
Turnovers.
too because that was very uncharacteristic, I can say that word, of Mr. Josh Allen with the 5 turnovers. Delilah, what about that? I mean, the fact that Buffalo actually played very sloppily in this game and almost messed around and lost.
Yeah.
What were your impressions of this game?
I did think they were gonna get sent home. I honestly, it's a little upsetting sometimes when I see that some teams really come in and underestimate other teams because they're like, oh, they're not as great or something, and it's like, but it's still an NFL team. So I often wonder why that mentality still, permeates, because it's like, well, you're still playing another professional team regardless. And and like Tina was saying, like, they actually are doing really well until we know all the injuries start piling up, specifically for their starter, and all of a sudden they couldn't maintain as much wins. They didn't even have Teddy this game. I agree with Sean. Skyler had a good game, man. Like they're like, all right, here we go, give it a shot. And he did put up a good fight for them. And I think that I think Buffalo really underestimated what they were doing when they were coming into this game. They're like, oh, they don't have Tua, all this stuff, and they're listening to like these projections and stuff, and then it's like, but you still have Tyreek Hill, you still have Waddle, and both of them had really great games. The game went on forever, which I was like, it was interminable. I there was times where I'm like, I gotta like flip back and forth. This is too much, but it went on forever, and they really put up a dogfight. Like I think that's, to me, thinking about Buffalo, that's a little concerning in my opinion, because this should not have gone this way, regardless if it's Miami or not. Like, they really should have put up a lot of better fight. Like, this game, in my opinion, shouldn't have been this close, and like you said, like the 5 turnovers by Josh Allen definitely don't help. But he's been known throughout the season to throw those costly interceptions too, specifically in the end zone, right? We know that.
He's been throwing interceptions his entire career.
Yes, but
people are forgetting how many interceptions he had when he first came out. So everybody's talking about how he's changed his game and everything, and he's more mature, and I think he is more mature, but he has a gunslinger attitude, and sometimes I think he tries to force balls where he shouldn't force, and that's what happens. You get 5 turnovers in a game.
Exactly. So yeah,
that's why whenever anybody at Denver is always like, we shouldn't have taken, I forget who we could have taken. We could have taken Josh Allen. They're like, we should have taken Josh. I'm like, no. No, I don't want to deal with that.
Well, it's funny because there was a one point you could tell the frustration was starting to boil over. There was like one play where somebody tackled Josh and he got up and pushed the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy pushed him back and it became a big thing. You're like, hey, Josh, calm down, buddy. Relax, man. It's just a game, bro. Don't get into a fight. I know you're charged up, but yeah, you just sit there and go. And that's how
fun too, because he's got some fire in him.
Like,
yeah, he does. That's the thing. Like, he's not going to take any of that, but it's just to see him get up and push the guy, like, yeah, come on with it, and then the guy pushes him back, and all of a sudden you got benches clearing. You're like, come on, Josh, calm down, buddy. Let's play the game. But yeah, I definitely, it did. What do you say? I don't know, Tina, with your running backs. Oh, he's just picking on Tina because she's a Broncos fan. I get it. Yeah.
Considering the coaches we've had, we'd already be on to another quarterback by this point, and Josh would be playing somewhere else.
There you go. Right. We're just poking for there it is.
Yeah,
John Spencer in the background, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's right. You're a keyboard warrior, aren't you? Why don't you come on the show and say something there, pal? Over there typing your stuff in the background, huh? That's right. I want to poke. There he is. There he is. There he is.
Don't tell me. I'm at work. All right.
I know. Well, I want the smoke always. Don't play with me.
Let's go. I'm glad you're back.
That's right. Let's go. I'm glad you're back too, sir. Thank you. You guys are the best. But yeah, obviously, I think there is some concern in Buffalo though, because again, you're not going to put in a performance like this and possibly beat the Bengals. So. We'll talk again. We'll talk about that a little later as well. Let us move on to what I thought was actually, for me, probably the best game of the day, just in terms of everything that happened and the way that the game went. And just, you knew these two teams were both going for it. Giants and Vikings in a dogfight, 31-24. The Giants prevailed, which, as an NFC North fan of the Chicago Bears, I was more than happy to see this game and more than happy for the Giants to come out with a victory. Yes. But anyways, that was that. I couldn't resist that one. Like I said, I think I'm funny to one. I think I'm funny. That's about it. But no, seriously, Daniel Jones this to me
Damn.
was Daniel Jones is kind of coming out because this guy's been taking a beating for the last 2 years about what a horrible quarterback he is. He can't play in the NFL. All he does is run. He can't do this. He can't do that. And my boy had a good game. He used his feet when he needed to.
Yes,
He had
did.
some really nice crisp passes. He had some really. This guy was on his game. And Saquon Barkley, again, another guy because of his injuries has taken a beating the last few years. That guy carried the Giants in this game, and I'm telling you, watch out for the New York Football
And Hodgins.
Giants.
Hodgins.
Oh yeah, where did Hodgins come
He
from?
had
I mean, I get it. He's been on the team all year. But I'm saying, I know. But like, all of a sudden, you're going, who is this Hodgins guy? Why is he catching all the passes? He's got 100 yards. What is going on here? Good.
If you look at the stats for Saquon, he didn't really have that much in terms of stats.
No.
He had 53 yards, but he
Just
I know.
enough.
I was looking at
Yeah.
that too.
He had-
Just enough.
I have all kinds of notes on this game because
Yeah.
She's got- she just got her legal pad. Right.
No,
You know,
anything
no,
in it. I just wanted to
he-
see like is Jones going to
was-
do
No.
well?
He was
Because
where
I
he
said it
needed
from
to
the beginning.
He was where he
Jones
needed to
is-
be.
QB coach when he came out was
Mhm.
Pat Schumer.
Yeah.
Schumer
Okay.
does not do well with rookie QBs.
That's
So Sean,
unfortunate.
have fun if he comes to play for you guys.
No, we already had his son. His son was on our practice squad, so we know.
Yeah,
We don't want
he
them.
doesn't do
Sounds
well.
like no.
Everybody says how bad Jones is. How can't he work with Schumer? Schumer's one of the best offensive-minded coaches, OCs you have. He has extremely complicated
Yeah.
stuff to do,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
was the problem he had with
You're
we
right.
had with Bridgewater and him was
Mhm.
it was just so
Yeah.
complicated nobody could
Oh, yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I loved it for Jones. I mean, 78 yards rushing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the stuff, and he wasn't like when he was running for yards, he wasn't like, oops, I got to slide. He was like going in.
I
And the
know.
two quarterback sneaks, oh God.
That was fun.
That was a great
fun to
game.
watch.
It
Yeah,
was
well,
so much fun.
I
to
hope
watch. And then
I hope I get this right because he had a stat. Sorry, Tina,
that's okay.
where he was the only quarterback ever to have 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and over 75 rushing yards,
In the
whatever it
playoff
was.
game. Yeah.
Two runs for 70
2
plus
runs
yards.
for 70 plus yards. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Only quarterback to ever do that, and it's Daniel Jones. So
And
that
he had
tells you
over
something, ladies and
300
gentlemen.
yards. I think
Yeah,
it was
pass, I mean-
350 yards.
This,
Yeah,
it
I
just,
told you,
it- this just shows what a good coach can do
Yes.
for a quarterback. You look at
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence
Yes.
in Jacksonville
Oh,
getting
yeah.
Doug Peterson. It changes
Yeah.
how these guys just
It really
the
does.
belief.
It does.
You know?
Yeah.
But then
yeah,
another
that does.
thing coming from Washington, this guy was Mr. Turnover the last couple of years, but it's because they relied on him to do so much. Dayball has him
Yeah.
not doing. He doesn't have to
Right.
be the winner, the Mr. Everything. And Tina, to
Right.
your point about
Right.
Saquon doesn't have to be 150 yards, and
Mhm.
he can still get his 50, 2 touchdowns,
Exactly.
and he's still a huge threat. And like you said,
Yes.
they debuted that against us. The Giants did that read option where he fakes it to Saquon and runs around. Like, we could not stop that for the life of us. So that is amazing. Hey, look, I'm gonna hop out of here. I do have
Okay.
another guest that will come in and take my place. One black guy leaves, another black guy gets in.
Oh, here it is. Oh, there it is.
Goofy.
Oh,
look at Andy.
Oh,
Wait a
oh,
minute.
here we go. Oh.
Why does it gotta be one black guy leave, another one come in? That just
That's
Hey,
your boy Sean.
Listen, look, I'm going to break it down for you, Anthony. See, because if you, again, people, don't call the race police on me. I don't want any back for this. I'm simply stating facts here. If you look at our show, we are the rainbow of you got a Hispanic chubby male, you got a female Latina, and you know what the stereotype of a female Latina is. She got attitude. That's Delilah. We love her. You got Anthony, who is our, I don't want to say token, but you're our black gentleman on the show. And tonight we have Tina, who represents the white women of the world. So I'm just saying that when you look at the spectrum of what we got going here, this is why Sean thinks he's funny and says I'm replacing one black man with another. This is what I'm saying. See,
That's
you
so
got to
funny.
understand the dynamic here, folks. Again, please
That
don't
was
call the
funny.
race police on me. I'm simply stating fact. Don't come for me. Don't do that. Don't cancel me. I'm still here. Don't do none of that. I'm just stating fact. But of course, As you
I
see,
love it.
ladies and gentlemen, Anthony, don't call me Tony. Handy is here with us. He has joined us. We thank you, Anthony, for joining the program in progress. So again, since
You made it.
you're new to our since you're new here for this particular show, I'm going to go to you. We're going to get your opinion on these Vikings Giants game. Basically, what we've been talking about, just to catch you up, just simply how Daniel Jones has played well. Essentially, this was his coming out show. Saquon with the 2 touchdowns back. What are your thoughts on Giants Vikings this past weekend, Mr. Handy?
Well, I got to say this. Number one, oh man, I'm getting that stupid feedback again. Let me adjust my microphone real quick. We'll change that, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about all of that. Your boy had to, let's see, Is that better there?
Yes, much.
Sorry about that. I came in here and I think I bumped something loose trying to get in the chair. Anyway, I wish, I don't say I wish, but I personally, as somebody who does sports commentary with you guys, I owe Daniel Jones an apology. I do. Daniel Jones, I know you probably won't see this show, but your boy from Oklahoma City, Mr. I'm very happy to be here. He owes you an apology. I was like, they drafted a dude from Duke? For real? Get out of here. Like, don't they have one dude from a smart school, the dude with the beard that plays for like another team every 2 years, the Fitzmagic dude? Like, I owe you an apology, bro. You got a coach down there. You got a coach up there now. You're doing things. You stiff arming people. Did y'all see the thing with the He pulled the King Henry. He was like, get off.
Yeah.
Man. He gave him the pimp name stick back. You just gonna have to back up and get up off a pimp and let a brother roll. How he does. You know what? I've been nothing but impressed with Daniel Jones' play this season. I definitely will say that it's just like Delilah. I think it was you that just said a minute ago. Either you or Sean said just like with Trevor Lawrence, they expected him to do everything because of how things were done. He was doing everything, especially with Saquon. With Saquon Barkley being out. With Saquon back and the right coaching, that boy is out there doing big things. And I've been very impressed. And it's irony that I'm about to quote this coach because he was once the coach of the Vikings, but the Vikings are who we thought they were.
They didn't adjust.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
somebody raised that point, and that was a point I had on here was the defense did not adjust for the game.
Right.
So,
right.
And
well, they
Kirk
did what
Cousins
Peyton Manning
was
said.
Kirk
They went
Cousins.
in. They went into the locker room, ate oranges, and went to the bathroom. Right. They didn't make adjustments. They just had their oranges and went to the bathroom and went back out for the second half. That's what happened in Minnesota.
You know what would have helped if they had some chicken wings to eat during halftime, like a certain other team. I won't say which one. But they had some chicken
I
wings
do want to answer. I do want to answer Kyle's note there because I'm gonna disagree with you, Kyle, because I think that this year does make up for those past bad years. Because as Tina talked about, coaching can be everything to a player, and I think Daboll has instilled confidence in Daniel Jones this year. He has been playing at just a different level for himself than the last few years. And I'm telling you, Daboll to me is easily a candidate for Coach of the Year. He should probably win.
Yes,
the way the Giants have turned this thing around.
As I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it does make up for those bad years because you're playing now. And as we all know, the NFL is definitely a what have you done for me lately league. So with the Giants on the road that they're on, and I'm telling you, we are going to talk about this later because we are going to talk about the games this weekend. I'm feeling what the Giants are putting down right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying watching them. Let's say that again, Tina. I'm sorry.
Finish your thought, and I have one thought on Daniel Jones. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying. No, I was finishing. Like I said, we're going to talk about that later, but I'm liking what the Giants are putting down right now. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Did you guys know that the Giants did not give Daniel Jones an extension because they weren't quite sure what he was going to do?
Right.
I think
correct.
If he keeps doing what he's been doing, I think he's proving that unless they got something else up their sleeve, like somebody that they can draft, I mean, he's proven he deserves at least an extension.
Absolutely.
And I will
think
also
so.
say
Absolutely.
the Bowl, I will give him a lot of points. People that know me, that have heard me say this on the show, know I am not a fan of that guy in Las Vegas. who's on
Right.
his second team and he's running them
Yes.
into the ground as head coach,
Yeah,
who's supposed
pretty
to
much.
be the brainchild of Belichick, and
Yeah,
DeBoer
no.
is running him over. He's
Yeah,
showing
Yeah,
him
absolutely.
exactly
you know,
how to do it. And
leadership matters.
yeah,
So as a
Absolutely.
it
100%.
matters so
100.
much, you know, as a teacher, especially, you know, and I'm sure Kat and a lot of people, when you don't have the right principal, it just
Yeah.
destroys the whole school. Okay.
Yeah.
When you have someone that runs a school that doesn't care about their teachers or really doesn't try to get to know them, connect the students, like that all filters down, and it just creates a toxic, just awful atmosphere. Teachers don't believe in themselves, the staff, the students, like they just don't, they're not feeling it, and they don't do well. They don't excel, right? They don't, because all of that
Yeah.
trickles down. And so the right coach does matter. And I feel like I like the way Brian DeBoer coaches,
Yeah.
because I forgot who it was that had the drop pass. He didn't curse him out. He
Slayton.
Went over and patted him on the
Yeah,
head.
Slayton.
he did
Oh my
not.
God, that hit him. Yeah.
Let me tell you, he did not make that man feel less than what he was. He uplifted that man. He went up to him and said, "It's gonna be okay. It happens." Oh my God, that does such a huge difference. And so
Yeah.
he definitely has lifted that team on his back. And I think that's true. I think Daniel Jones didn't have any really faith in himself. He really didn't have, like Tina was saying, like someone to actually coach him and show him the ropes. And I forgot how tall that man was too. I was like, oh my God, he's a big guy. Like I didn't realize until he started running and like blocking people. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like, I was like, he's a big guy and he's fast on his feet, you know? And so kudos to him. Honestly, I hope he does well. I hope he continues to do well.
Yeah.
I hope that whatever happens, if they go further or not, I hope he gets his extension and continues to prove that, you know, he's who we think he is this season. You know what I mean? That he is that guy. So
yeah, I think he needs
Well,
a
speaking
chance
of people
to
who,
prove that.
yeah, no, agreed. And that's why I wanted to answer Sean's thing is yes, Kirk Cousins is who we thought he was. And I don't mean to pound on Kirk, but again, another instance where he came up short. I mean, and if you saw Slayton's face when you know on the stop on Minnesota, like the relief that came over that poor guy's face because he knew like we survived this one, my friends. Because that drop really was. I thought for a minute, oh my God, it's gonna come back to haunt him. Like I really did. I was like, that would have, you know. And you saw his face when that stop happened. He was like, oh yeah,
he did. Poor
So
guy.
good for Darius
He
Slay,
gave his
right?
thanks to Jesus at that point.
Yeah,
he really did. Kyle,
sure.
you're probably Kyle. We'll see. I mean, definitely Minnesota has a decision to make with that. I think they've got a few decisions to make, so we'll see what Minnesota ends up doing as far as quarterback or what they want to do going forward. But let us move on to another game. Now, this one was the Sunday evening affair. Of course, we all know that was a rematch from the week before when Cincinnati and Baltimore went at it in the last week of the season, and they just ended up playing each other again in the first game of the wild card, or the first game for them in the wild card. And we all know Cincinnati won 24-17. But to me, this was a game, and you guys will definitely get your chance to, because I'm going to say something here. I was not impressed with Joe Burrow in this game, and I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan. I thought there was plenty of opportunity for Cincinnati to really put this game away, and it came down to them knocking the ball out of Tyler Huntley's hands on the 1 yard line, the defense to score for them to win the game. So I'm going to shut up now and give it to my esteemed panelists. And so, Handy, we'll start with you. What in the world happened with Cincinnati? They let Baltimore stay in this game and almost let them tie this game up. So go ahead and give me your opinion on what happened there Saturday night.
I am going to say it. I think that Cincinnati kind of came in like we have this out the gate. I mean, Joe Burrow, let's be real. Joe Burrow has been very impressive.
Yes.
He had that, his rookie season, we saw what happened there with the injury, but he came back with a vengeance last year, even with an offensive line. Yeah, an offensive line that had more holes in it than a new pair of Yeezys. And he still managed to get them all the way to the Super Bowl. And they have been rocking and rolling this season. But I think that sometimes when you have that kind of success, you get to a point, no matter who you are, you get to a point that you tend to go, oh, we got this one covered. I think they came in thinking they had that one covered, and Huntley and the boys are like, yeah, we think y'all are gonna beat us, but we gonna let you know that we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that game the entire time I watched the game. I'm like, it's really this close?
Yeah.
Cincinnati let off the gas.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think they ever stepped on it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, that's why I said I wasn't impressed by the performance of Cincinnati at all, to be honest with you. Like, they look sloppy sometimes on offense, sloppy on defense. Like, you kept Baltimore. And again, this is not a knock against Tyler Huntley. I mean, I know Baltimore's defense played a pretty good game, to be honest with you. Like, with Roquan and the boy, like, they really actually played a pretty decent game. But again, wasn't impressed with Cincinnati's offense. And I just think whether they were off or, like you said, Anthony, they came in with this confidence, and then when Baltimore kind of stuck it to them, it was like, oh, wait a minute, now we have to play. Like, this is not going well. Tina, go ahead. Give me your impressions of Saturday night's game.
I was going to say, like, Jared's talking about divisional opponents are rarely cakewalks.
Yeah.
That's true. But it was more than just that in this game. It was almost like Cincinnati came in and said, well, we're third, they're sixth. We've been black and blue through, but I think we're going to be okay. And maybe they didn't plan well, or they were trying to maybe save something for the next game because they knew if they won, they'd be playing the Bills. There's just something wasn't right. And Baltimore, brought it to them, but the game wasn't a pretty game. It was, if I have to be honest, boring in places. So
it really was. I messaged the whole group
after the Giants game. I was like, okay.
I was like, what's going on?
So,
yes, no, fun. Delilah, give us your opinion on what happened there Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I actually was. I mean, I know even though the turnover in the end zone like sucked, but Huntley actually didn't do bad that game. To be honest, like, people really thought he was gonna come in and like not know what to do, not get it done. He's not experienced, but it's as much as like it was also a very kind of drawn out, like, we're like, all right, who's gonna score? He did put up a pretty good game. He really did come in, and it's like, well, no, we're still in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And so like, and like, we should be taken seriously. And I think they showed that. Yeah, I wasn't super like wowed by Cincinnati at all this game. Like, it was like, what is going on? Like, I remember I messaged to Cooper, like, oh, it's 9-0. And it was like the second quarter. I was like, this is awful. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's really bad. But yeah, I don't know what Cincy has planned, but they especially like Ben was saying, they lost another lineman, which is wild. Like, I don't, man, like, Joe Burrow's already gonna, like, I don't know what they're going to do with Buffalo, and the fact that their defense actually is a really great defensive team, and they're going to go after him like hardcore. So I don't feel confident in, as much as we kind of nitpick like the Bills earlier, at the same time, like, their defense is like ridiculous, and they really are going to go. They're going to go after Burrow a lot, like, especially, unfortunately, like, again, they have I don't even know who their new lineman's going to be that's protecting him. And
that's going to be rough.
Yeah, that's going to be rough for him. I don't know. It's not looking great, but if they plan for it, like we said, right? If they plan for it and they have kind of strategies in place and don't play like they did in Baltimore, then, they might have a shot, but it's not looking great.
Well, you never want anyone to get hurt, but an interesting stat for you guys: Jonah Williams, who was the lineman who got hurt, actually led the league in sacks allowed this year. Ooh. So I don't know how you plug that hole, but maybe this is. I don't want to be that guy.
Maybe they never plugged it.
Maybe it works better than their advantage rate. Maybe Jonah Williams wasn't the answer, and now you put somebody. You did lose. Right, I'm just right. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm just saying.
Hey, all good. Hey, maybe we'll see, right? We'll see.
Right. After it looks like, all right, look at these quarterbacks: Tyler Huntley, Geno Smith, Skylar Thompson, Danny Jones, and Brock Purdy.
Not the year of the star quarterback.
Yeah.
They're not right. And exactly. And guess what? The last one with Real Star Power just got eliminated, which is a perfect segue into our next game because, of course, the Monday night affair was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus those Dallas, where's David Wright? Don't be a commie, root for America's team, Dallas Cowboys. David, if you're watching, we love you, buddy. But yes, and Ash too. Janae, you guys are all Cowboy fans. Congratulations on your victory, right? Congratulations. Dallas finally want to play a game for the first time in 27 years, whatever it is. Congratulations. You beat up on the old man and his crippled line and his bad defense and his no running game and all that good stuff. Congratulations. But anyways, I digress. On to the next point.
Pause for a second.
So yes,
Tina,
go ahead. What happened?
Can I see you do whatever that dance was you were doing again?
Yeah, there you go. There. I think
love
Tina
it
was
when
excited.
the
for it.
FB
Yeah.
loses.
Yeah. I mean, so, Kate Alverson, if you're watching, you might want to turn off now because we're about to Brady bash, and you may not like it. So I'm just saying ahead of time, we're not going to hold back because I'm telling you. And again, I only caught highlights. I didn't see the game. I'm not going to lie.
It's okay. Her second
But,
quarterback
don't
made
make
it
me-
through.
David, I said you were welcome to come on. So if you're back there, get your butt on this program now, my friend.
he did say
Sean
that at the
said
beginning
Lily-
of the show. He
Hey,
did say
right.
that.
hey,
Yeah,
Skip, he got nothing to lose. Already got my glasses off, so I'm ready.
that's right. Come, Sean, get that man the link. Bring him on here. Let's do this. Come on, David. I know you. If you're watching, that means you're available. So let's do this. Let's talk
Yeah,
some Cowboys,
no, he might
Buccaneers,
be-
shall we?
It'd
He might be
if
messaging.
No, I
it'd be
think.
funny if-
I'm not
it'd be
sure,
funny
yeah,
if
I'm
he
not
come
sure.
He
on
might
and
be
he's
messaging from work.
Well,
I'll be there
we'll
at
keep
5.
going. Be there. I'll be there in 5. Oh wait, now we got to drag this out for 5 minutes. Come on,
he
David.
gotta go. He
I don't
gotta
want to
go.
talk about Dallas for that long, right?
He
What,
gotta
you gotta go
hide
put
in
on
the
a
wa-
face
He
or
gotta go hide
something?
in the walk-in
Right.
freezer.
Right. You got to go pick out which hat you're going to wear on the show or something. Come on, brother. What's going on over there?
Look, man, I gotta be fast. I'm standing here between
Right.
the salmon and the steaks. I gotta get out of here.
Y'all too many.
Yeah, no kidding. But let's go ahead. Let's get started then. If David joins us, that's awesome.
Awesome.
But yeah, is this, and I want to ask this is for everyone. So again, now that we're all here, let's all just have this fun discussion. Is this the end now? Do we
Please, I
end
hope
the
so.
Tom Brady talk? Is Tom Brady done in the NFL? Taking this defeat yesterday, looking
No.
the way that they did, does
No.
Tom Brady? No, he doesn't. Okay, so go
I'm
ahead,
gonna
Tina.
say this.
You answered first. I'll let you go ahead and say your piece.
I would hope it would be. I mean, but I don't think he's going to. He has it in his mind of what he wants to do, and he's not going to retire until he feels he wants to retire. I mean, if his family can't make him retire, I don't think losing in the first round of the playoffs is going to make him retire. So,
No, you're probably right. Right, you gave up your entire family to keep playing. It seems that way. So, yeah, one loss may not deter you from keep going. That's true. Delilah, what about you? What do you think?
No, he's gonna be on a different team. That's all. Because that's the one thing. Like
Yeah.
he does do that. I mean, he stuck at the Patriots for a long time, but when things weren't looking good, right? He went to Tampa.
he's already proved he was an assistant quarterback.
So,
What more does
Yeah.
this man have to prove?
I know. So
Honestly,
he went. It's like, all right, let me win another one, and he did, right? He won
You got
another one. with
traded
Tampa.
to Fox.
Yeah,
You pulled
yeah,
Gronk with you so you could win.
yeah.
And then
That's
you
right.
win and you come back. You've
Yeah.
already proven you weren't the Belichick
I
system
know.
quarterback everybody claimed you were. You've won
Right.
7 Super Bowls. You've won more
Right.
than Joe
Yeah.
Montana. You've won more than any
I
guy.
know.
You're the oldest quarterback in the history of the league. And yes, you're a goddamn GOAT, even though I freaking hate to say that.
Yep, there you go.
It's time to retire.
We will.
Let someone else do it.
I know. It would be awesome.
There it
A lot of these guys are like that, though. Like a lot of these
Yeah.
guys, it happens in all sports. Like, okay, well, look at what Michael Jordan did. I love him. But what did he do? And I love you, Sean, but he went to the Wizards. Was he playing as great?
No,
like
no, that was terrible.
Yeah,
I don't even.
Sean,
I don't even.
figured.
I don't even talk
Shut
about
up.
that. We
That's
don't talk
what
about the Washington year. We don't talk about that, Delilah. Come on.
What I'm
He never
trying to-
played
what-
for the Wizards.
what
What are you
I'm
talking
trying to
about?
say-
Well, no,
What I'm
That
trying to
didn't happen.
say is a lot of these
it was a bad dream.
a lot of these guys will not
Yeah.
retire until it is
Right.
obvious that they'll never
Yeah,
get
that
another
they
one.
can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I know. I read about that, Sean. I'm actually looking forward to that. But like, you know, that's just they won't. That's just their mentality. They're not gonna go
Yeah,
away until they just can't ever do it again. Like it's just like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm not gonna. That's it. Then they'll leave, and that's Tom Brady. He
I
ain't
know.
gonna leave.
Well, Anthony, that's the
Die
thing.
on
This
the
is
field
obviously,
before he leaves.
look at, look at, tell him, Tina. No, Tina's like, we triggered Tina. She's going off now. It's over. You upset
this
Tina.
is
She's going for it.
nothing.
Like, no, I'm sure, but I'm just
But I
saying.
did pick the
Oh,
Cowboys to win, though.
don't hold back
Just
on
gonna
our
put
part.
that out
Yeah,
there.
well, a lot of people. I think a lot of people did know, honestly. But that's the thing, Handy. Like Anthony, let's be honest. Obviously, we all feel this is a case of Tom Brady just staying too long for whatever reason, whatever his reasons are, yada yada yada. But seriously, on a serious note, Dallas going into this game obviously was the favorite for most people. And now everybody's like, yeah, but it's Tom Brady. It's the playoffs. This is where he shines, yada, yada, yada. The man did not shine yesterday. Let's just be honest about that. Again, he had a crippled offensive line. I know he got Ryan Jensen back for this game, but that didn't help as much as everybody probably had hoped. I mean, they just didn't get a lot going. Dallas has a much better defense at this point. Like, what was your impression of this game, Anthony? Like, give us what you have to say.
I know we're talking about Tom Brady, but can we talk about something else that almost made me fall out of my chair? That touchdown that Tom Brady threw late in the game, I said, "Oh my God, Julio Jones still catches touchdowns?"
Well, yeah.
I ain't seen him do that since before he had turf toe in Atlanta.
There you
Anyway,
go.
Speaking
turf toe in Atlanta.
Speaking of,
yes, exactly.
Anyway,
David's waiting
I
on
don't know.
us, so
I
we
don't-
want
I
to
don't-
bring
Okay,
him on.
no, yeah.
It's
It's all good. We're gonna talk Dallas in a minute. Don't worry. We're gonna let him talk.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I that speech he gave, I don't know
Yeah.
if that was just him. I don't know if that was him just realizing his mortality in the league, because he definitely, Tom. We know Tom Brady. The Tom Brady we know and love that was not the Tom Brady we know and love. That was a humble Tom Brady. He was out there looking like Stephen from Django, talking about y'all sure being nice to me. I appreciate everything Tom Tyson Bay did for me, and I just gotta look to the future and see from the past and see and put two and two together and figure out what we're gonna do from here. I think it was the first time that Tom Brady really had to face. It really had to be. He really had to bring humility to the table. There's a couple of Super Bowl losses that he had. He still was in his prime. He's like, "I'll be back. I'll be back.
Right.
I'll be back."
Yeah.
This time he was like, "I don't know." So I think he's gonna go home. He's gonna eat. He's gonna drink about 800 gallons of grass juice and whatever else that he eats. And and he's gonna feel a little better. And come time for camp, he'll be at camp. And I think he's probably gonna get a twinge like he had never had before. And then he's gonna go, maybe I need to pack it in. Either that, it's gonna go one of two ways. Either he's gonna fade off into the distance, or he's gonna be like Burt Reynolds was in that remake of The Longest Yard, where he comes in for that one last play.
Mercy, oh good Lord. Not The Longest Yard. And on that note, let us bring in one of our resident Dallas fans, because we're gonna have to give you your flowers, David, because let me tell you, I still thought somehow Dallas would find a way to lose this game, but they did not. They came out and they played and they got their victory.
Even with
So
their
please
kicker,
welcome to the program.
PATs, right?
Well, we're gonna get into that too.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I gotta, you gotta mention the good with the bad, right? But let's bring on David. David, are you there, my friend? Okay, Sean. Sean always put. Look at, you made David turn off his camera. What's going on here? What are you doing? Come back, David. Come back. Sean was only kidding. Come on, guys. There he is. David Wright, ladies and gentlemen. David, thank you for joining us on this glorious Tuesday for you. I know how happy you are. You got your Dallas hoodie on. You're happy. Your Cowboys have broken a 27-year curse of not winning a playoff game, and yet here you stand on a Tuesday victorious. Give us your impressions of what happened. This is your time to shine, my friend. Give it to us all. Let us hear it.
I mean, as happy as I can get about my Cowboys. You guys saw me last year, and I was all on the hype train. I was like, you know what? Let's just have fun with it. We're looking good. Let's roll. And then we lost to the Raiders on Thanksgiving, and I literally changed my name on every show to Rational David. I was back. Right? You know, that team was a joke last year, and the season ended comically. This year, I have a little hope because of how weak the NFC is. San Fran is the class of the NFC, and trust me, I'm not fooling myself into thinking that we're going to be able to come close to doing what we did to Tampa yesterday, because there were holes in our game yesterday. There really were. I mean, we're in the third quarter, and I'm still sitting here like, oh God. It's Tom Brady on the field. We've been rolling all game, and I still was not 100% sold on that victory until late into the fourth quarter. My biggest complaint of this Dallas organization has been our coaching and our leadership. We've been a soft team for the better part of 2 decades. We play to the level of our competition, and I felt really good about what I saw yesterday because of what we saw the week before with that game against Sean Spencer and his commies. Because as a coaching staff, if you allow your guys to take the field as unprepared and unmotivated as we were against the commies, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Oh, for sure.
And,
for sure. I agree.
Everybody came out to play yesterday. I've been saying, most of the season that our this season will go as our pass rush does. And everybody's dogging Tom Brady today and saying it's time to retire and saying he looked horrible. Nah, our pass rush just looked that good. Go watch that game again. That man did not have time to throw, and he didn't have Gronk, and he didn't have Edelman.
Nope,
over the last, however many years, that's been his quick go-to.
Safety blanket.
He doesn't even with Gronk and with Edelman, he didn't need to make the read to see where they were and if they were open. He knew where they were. He knew they were open.
Belichick always made sure he had an offensive line. He always had a line to be behind. I mean, I'm ripping on the man, but I know why he won. And Gronk was
we all know. Yeah.
You have the biggest guy that is a wide receiver that, I mean, essentially safeties have to monkey up the guy to take him down. So, I mean,
they do. But
for Micah Parsons, man, he was on fire yesterday.
He was.
Micah came into that game, and I got to give Dan Quinn so much credit because that defense came into that game knowing that they were the X factor. That pass rush, they came into that game, and you could see it all over them. They were like, this game is ours to win and lose. And they went out there and took it. But Tom Brady, when Micah was coming after him, I think it was like somewhere in the third quarter. And Micah was still 2 steps off. And Tom Brady just like threw the ball away. Didn't even try and make a read, just nothing. Just like, oh God, no. Like he was,
exactly.
He was mentally
Super Bowl
done
50
with that game.
us.
I'm gonna make a statement here, y'all, on behalf of the entire Atlanta, the whole Dirty Bird Nation. Dan Quinn is no longer a welcome guest at any Atlanta facility because Dan Quinn, where the hell was that defense in the second half of Super Bowl 51?
Oh, there we go. I was waiting for that one.
Now we figure out how to be Tom
The
Brady.
Super Bowl I referred to earlier with Tom Brady coming back from that deficit.
That's right.
Now we figure out how to beat Tom Brady. Okay. We see you, Dan Quinn. We see you.
Hey,
by the way, Dan Quinn can come to Denver anytime he wants to, as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. There you go. They need a head coach.
And good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because it's not, when you are hired to do a job that you are not qualified to do, and then you suck at it, whose fault is it? The Dallas Cowboys promoted Jason Garrett, and we promoted one of the best offensive coordinators in the league to a job that he was not qualified nor capable of doing. And you guys did the same thing with Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn coming to Dallas, he picked all of his personnel, and look what he's done with that defense. He is one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. I do not think he's a good head coach, and that's the organization's fault.
I didn't disagree with you at all.
He just doesn't want Dan Quinn back in Atlanta. That's all. I get it. I understand this. Right. I understand this. Right.
He is not. But he's not welcome at the cookout.
But David, in all seriousness, are you worried though? Because this next game could be a lot closer, and that kick. How do you miss 4 extra points in a game? And kind of, how do you rebound from something like that? Because he made the 5th one. That's fine. But you missed 4 extra points, man. And at some point Dallas is going, what in the hell is going on here? Like, what do you do with that, man?
Did you see the footage of Dak on the sideline?
Yes.
I only saw one highlight. Down,
and was yelling, "Effing go for 2." Like,
exactly. What are we doing?
I don't know if you saw.
Wait. Did you see that after that he came out to kick the field goal and he was like, and Mayor Trout's on the field? Nope, he's going back to the sideline.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to if he misses 1, you go, okay, buddy, get back in there, bring, not get yourself back on the horse. Then he misses the 2nd one. You got to imagine, okay, he's missed 2. Now what do we do? Then he goes in and misses the 3rd one. And now you're really, like you said, Dak's throwing helmets, talking about going for 2. Then he misses a 4th one. I'd be chewing my head if I were on the sidelines, man.
I spoke on this during Swinton's Unfiltered last night. I think I was the only one on.
Did you speak on it, or did you have an episode? You had an episode. you and Dak were together.
I spoke on it, and then a little bit later when he missed the 4th kick, then I had a complete and utter episode. If you guys didn't see it,
I turned my face for a minute. David
I may have to go check that out, David. Right, I have to go check that out.
Like the clip said, bruh. I was like, where did David go? And I heard him. I was like, who the hell is he yelling at?
Oh man.
Where you, David?
Is that what it was?
Oh God.
Are we a PG show now? We can't hear David's response? Or is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. We cannot
that's for the night. That's for the night show.
Yeah, that's for the unfiltered show.
That's for the R broadcast. Right. That's for the R-rated broadcast.
Yes.
LTF After Dark.
Yes.
Yeah, you go. LTF After Dark.
That's why it's called Unfiltered.
Yeah.
Right. It's called Unfiltered for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember the Yahtzee conversation from about a month ago. Yes. Never mind.
David is losing his ever-loving mind, and ashes in the floor in his
Yeah.
Yeah.
LTF After Dark. There it is. We got a new segment, LTF After Dark, where everybody gives their honest response to something. There we go. I love it.
I was invited on a different show last Thursday, and I said, and everybody, the Tampa fans that were on there, the hosts, I'm sure they're in their comments.
Didn't everybody but you?
Told them. I said, Micah Parsons is back. I'm like, I said the way to get to Tom Brady is exactly like that. That's who he is. If you pressure him, keep him off his game, keep pressure on him, you will win, because that's just the way to do it. You cannot and that's exactly what I said. The defense would be the huge difference in getting it done and keeping Tom Brady off his feet. And that's why I said the Cowboys would win, because their defense is better. And it just happens that Tampa, I don't know. I know they're bringing up all these other players, but I know their O-line's not as good, And so I was like, that was the difference maker. And I said, that's why the Cowboys are going to win. And I got that correct. So there you go. I don't know what their show is called.
On that one. You did.
But,
you did.
Delilah, you're the best, babe. I know you nailed it. I did hear that. And I'm like, and you ended up being right. It's like, and the defense, and that's that's the biggest thing, David, honestly, going forward for Dallas, especially with the next game that they have. Their defense really is going to have to show up and create turnovers, create stops. You've got your boy Diggs back there, who likes to be a little flashy and do his thing right, and jump. He likes to jump cut and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you better be careful, my brother, because the receivers on that other team, my friend, they'll run right by you and they'll make you look bad. And so I just say, that's one of the to me, that's going to be a great matchup to see whether or not he gets Ayuk or he gets Samuel. What said if they switch him back and forth on the different sides of the field to combat both of those guys. It'd be interesting to see what Dallas draws up for that. Obviously, Parsons is a beast. We know that. I mean, he's going to get his rushes. He's going to get his chance to get in there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game. And like I said, we are going to talk about that in the next set of segments. But David, I'm going to give you a final minute here to kind of, anything you want to say about your Cowboys, anything coming up, or how you feel about going into next week, anything like that, my friend. Floor is yours.
I'm nervous going forward.
Okay.
So the recipe for us to win is the pass rush, keeps the quarterback on his heels, keeps him from making clean reads. He then puts up a jump ball that Trayvon Diggs goes and gets. That was our recipe for success. I don't know if we can do that with San Fran because, Tampa Bay's passing game was mostly downfield. Their way to beat people was to go downfield. That takes time. You can't do that against our pass rush if they are playing up to their level. San Fran can literally beat anybody in this league without ever throwing the ball more than 10 yards. You've got CMC, who is an all-around, all generational talent. And then you have his counterpart in Debo. They can both play each other's positions, and they can both destroy you with either rushes or catches under 10 yards. They are not going to give us the opportunity to get to Brock Purdy. So in this game, it's not going to be our pass rush. It's going to be our run D. If we cannot stop the run and force Brock Purdy to beat us with his arm going 15 yards or more downfield, we do not stand a prayer in this game because their defense is not the Tampa defense. That Dak is going to be pressured all game. Our Zeke and Tony Pollard, here it is, boys. Earn your contract. Tony Pollard needs and wants a new contract. He's balling out. Zeke, you got paid. Go earn it. This is the game that our rushing game needs to carry us, control the clock, control the line of scrimmage. That said, San Fran just has us outmatched at so many different positions on the field. It's not even funny. So, I would love to see us win this game.
Sure.
And either way, it was just nice to see Dallas come out last night and finally have a game under the spotlight in the playoffs where we came out and we did what we were supposed to do. We did what we were capable of doing. So, win or lose, I like the trajectory, but Mike McCarthy gotta go.
Right. Yeah.
Come on home, Sean Payton coming to Dallas, baby.
Yeah. Might be time for a coaching change there in Dallas. Well, listen, David.
How many calls is that man getting and emails? He's got to be just bombarded. Like
everybody wants Sean Payton. He's already 4 teams interested. Yeah, I'm sure he's already taken a couple interviews. So
Sean Payton's house right now is like the Blind Side when all the coaches were coming by and.
That's right.
That's it. That's very true. Everybody wants to come visit him.
That's right. About Sean Payton is. The people that he's talking to are teams that the Saints have agreed that he can talk to. And they're not talking compensation at this point. Because of his position, he has to get approval from the Saints to anyone he even has a phone call with.
Right.
And first, the teams have to agree with the Saints as to what the trade would be between them. And then if the Saints agree to the trade, then Sean gets to negotiate with that team.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
I mean, I don't blame the Saints, though. So.
No, I don't either. Which is, I don't want to do the first round draft pick, which we're going to, because it's in 29th and we don't have any until the 3rd. So I'm,
right.
But
very true.
Anyways, sorry. But yeah, Peyton is number one man right now.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.